Hello, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at this Toshiba RTS502D Radio Cassette Recorder. Probably dates from the late 70s, early 80s, something like that. So she's getting on a bit now. I have worked on an RT-S502D before, so do check that out if you haven't seen that video already. However, this is actually the first time I've even seen an RTS502, let alone worked on one. So I thought I'd share this with you today. Take a look. Now, I've already featured, or at least shown, some of the features and what does and doesn't work on this on the original unboxing video, so I'll put a link in the description for that. Suffice it to say that for the purposes of today, we haven't got to do anything with the radio, but the tape doesn't work. The transport controls move absolutely fine. I can hear the motor running, but nothing is working. None of the spindles or the capstan are turning or anything like that, so I suspect new belts. Right, okay, also needs a deep clean and a polish, but I've got every confidence that we're going to get this thing up and running. So next thing then, we'll get it on a towel of destiny, crack it open, see what's in store. Okay, so if this is anything like the 702, it will be the front that comes away. So I can see a couple of screws just here. There's also a couple of small ones tucked away on the bottom. So I'm just going to remove all of the knobs first, and the switch tips like so. See how we get on with that. Okay, the screws are out. I don't mind telling you, they took a little bit of getting out, so I think it's probably the first time this will have ever been apart. So let's just open this up. There is one just inside here, which is accessible, so could well be the one we're looking for. Let's try that. There we go. Good stuff. So the faceplate is literally just that, just a moulded faceplate with your cassette door in there and the little spring for that. Nice. Okay, good. That's easy enough to get out and clean then. Marvellous. And yeah, just like the 702, the speakers are loose in here, like so. Nice. Well, that's going to make life nice and easy. Okay. So we can get to the switches easy enough if we needed to clean them in there, but we don't. Ditto for the pots. Look, they are literally right there looking at us. But again, we don't need to do that. Okie dokie. So, one of the things I wanted to do was remove the tuner. You can see how dirty that cover glass is, or perspex, because for some reason, I don't know how, but I thought it was a piece of cake or something, but there's, oh, it's a moth. It was a moth, I think, that had managed to get into there. So we've cleaned that off already, but I'll give this a proper clean in due course. Obviously, if you wanted to, you can remove the screws here to get the whole chassis, the whole circuit board out, but we're okay. We just need to get the tape out. Beautiful. Just having a quick poke around really, but it's dead simple. Looks like we've got the radio board side just here. We've got the IF stages. We've got the mixer chip and what have you. That looks like the variable resistor just in here for your pilot signal, for your 19 kilohertz pilot signal. Obviously your various switches there for your modes. Here we've got our tone and volume pots. Mains transformer just there. Yeah, nice and easy. Lemon squeezy. Good. So let's have a look at this mech then. Very handily, got some nice colour coded screws as well. So we've got 4 little sort of rose coloured screws to come out. I've just dislodged one of these felt covers, but I'll get all 3 off to give them a nice clean whilst we're here. Put them to one side. just got a final screw to remove in this corner. Okie dokie then. So let's see what's tied by what. There's a multi-plug just in here. And another at the bottom. And that is us. As easy as that. Magic. Right. So, just going to move the main unit to one side real quick. We'll give that a good dust and a clean in a minute. But here's the mech proper. Oh no. Hang on a minute. Right, reason I'm chuckling here is I've just found that on my hand. And yeah, we know what that is, don't we? So unfortunately, this is going to be another one of those jobs. I spent all of yesterday messing about with a Hitachi unit that's about to turn to goo, and it's looking very much like we could be in trouble on this side as well. So you never know. You never know. That's the problem. That is the problem. It's when you can't find the belt. That's when you know you're in trouble. Looks though like this one spat itself over the case somewhere, so I'll find that in a bit. So what I'm just going to do anyway is give this a bit of a clean up. Go in there and clean the head, both heads in fact. One, it definitely needs a, yeah, it will clean up, but it's got some corrosion on there and some ferrite. The pinch roller, yeah, that feels just about supple enough to be used. It needs a decent clean, that's for sure. You can probably see all the ferrite on it. If you can have a look in there, it's kind of orange. So we'll give that a good clean as best we can. Yeah, okay, give it a good clean, give it a dust. Check if it needs any fresh lubrication. In fact, that grease looks a bit discoloured and old, so we will do that anyway. We'll put a bit of oil on the motor spindle. We'll drag the remnants of the belts out from there. Ditto for inside the flywheel here, look. I'll get all this out. Give it all a good clean. Yeah, alright. Okie dokie. Right, so I'm going to go and clean this lot and I'll be back shortly. But we never got a chance to hear the cassette before because obviously the belts have gone. But clearly, given the state of the heads, the signal wouldn't have been the best anyway, so we definitely will have improved it by doing all of this. That's much better. So I've given everything a good dust and a degrease, re-greased a couple of little bits and pieces, clean the heads, clean the capstan, and indeed the pinch roller, which isn't perfect, but it's almost there and it feels nice and supple. So I'm confident that that's going to do the job when the time comes. So I'm going to turn my attention now again to this side and again clean out the old grease. You'll see that discoloured old grease along there. We'll clean that up. Probably just go ahead and remove this backing plate here, get the flywheel out actually, and just clean everything up this side, and then get ready to figure out where the belts go. I think there's probably only one on this. There's no auto stop belt or any other transfer or intermediate belts that I can see. I think it is literally just this one here from the flywheel direct to that pulley on the motor. Just put my cursory little arrow there just to show which way the motor is. and there's a little resistor that's soldered to that tag just there. Okay, and I'll put some fresh grease on the bottom of that as well in a moment. So the flywheel is now cleaned and prepped, and all that remains now is to put the new belt on and start reversing what we've already done. So, okay, there's the belt. Good stuff. And just going to clean the grease off the back plate just there, and just apply a little bit of fresh grease to the bearing, like so. Not too much. And then orientate this again. That's it. Exactly as it came off, and refit the screws. Okay, so that's the mech done actually. So with that we can then bring in the back casing. Now I'm not sure, 11th of Feb, I might say like 13 or 2nd of November. Hard to tell what that date is in there, but the motor, let's have a look. See, the cover plate says Feb 9, 19, I don't know, I want to say 1987, could be 1981. Didn't think this one would be as late as 87, but you never know. Anyway, either way, I'm going to just clean up all this fluff and dust off of the speakers, give the tuning window a clean off this plastic here, and get it all back together again. Happy days. Just as well, we're removing some of this fluff before anybody with hay fever or dust allergies gets hold of it. We don't want that bellowing this dust into the atmosphere while the Beastie Boys or someone's pumping out. I just like to do this in a bit of a controlled manner. You can use compressed air. You can gently hover a vacuum over it or something with and then get a paintbrush and suck it all up. I'm not a fan of compressed air generally speaking, partly because I am actually one of those guys that does literally have a genuine dust allergy, so I have to be super careful around all this sort of stuff. And also, you know, this workshop has got a lot of work in progress, but it's also got some open chassis and some nice finished boomboxes and stuff that's for sale as well. So, you know, this isn't the sort of workshop where I can go blasting loads of dust and dirt all over the place. It's not good for the environment, it's not good for my health. So I like to just do this with a lightly moistened cloth or a lightly moistened Q-tip. Just do it in a controlled manner. No damage to any of the paper cones, no damage to the electronics, just how I like to work. Also, as you're going about your business, you can check out any other odds and sods as well. I've got another sticker here that's, I can't read, I think it's 302, but then it says 0881. So could that be August 1981? Let me know in the comments if you know a bit more about the dating of these particular models. But also, not the first time I've had a tarantula hiding away in the bottom of the casing. This is, hang on, right, all this here, look, remember I said I don't know where the belt's gone? Well, it has to go somewhere, and I'm thanking my lucky stars that it didn't end up in the gears. There we go. it actually disintegrated and ended up in the case. So there's the broken bits. If I squidged them in, they would literally dissolve into my hand now, but I'm not going to do that, obviously. Just going to get rid of them. But yeah, there we go then. Nice to know where that's gone at least. Okay, well, it's pretty much ready to go back together. I've cleaned the speakers. I've also cleaned the front and the reverse of the tuner plastic as well. And indeed these little switch covers, little dust protectors. I always like to do a proper job of cleaning everything if I can. I liken it to restoration of classic vehicles and stuff like that as well. So even though this is a general kind of gentle recommission and not a restoration per se, it's a bit like I used to work on motorbikes, for example, and you know, if you're replacing a tyre and you've got all the, you know, you've got the spindle out and the associated washers and bolts and what have you, and the axle, it's always nice to degrease it and re-lube it properly before you reassemble it, rather than just ripping the old dirt and grime out and shoving a dirty gritty axle back in when you put a new tyre on. You know, it's always worth doing things properly, and that way they will last much nicer and for much longer. So yeah, I think if you're kind to the machine will be kind to you. So what I'm just going to do is put this in, figure out where those two multi-plugs are that these came from, screw it back in, and we'll give it its first demo in quite some years, decades I would imagine. Okay, so I've just plugged the multi-plugs back in, put a couple of screws in. I haven't fixed all of them yet, purely because at this juncture we haven't tried it yet. I don't even know if it works, so it would be wise to try it before we do anything else. So I'm just going to use, in fact, yeah, okay, so play is there, fast forward and rewind. Just using the front case there as my template. So genuinely this hasn't turned a wheel in, I don't know how many, 20, 30 years. So here we go. Nice. All right. Happy days. Beautiful. Nice. That's lovely. Really pleased with that. So I'll get the speakers in, get the case back together, and yeah, we'll give it a bit of a polish and have a final reveal. But just a quick note on this. I had a counter. I noticed when I looked through my records, the S702 had two belts. One was for a counter. This one doesn't have that. So this is a single belt one. But good stuff. As I say, give this a final polish now, and I'll see you on the other side of a fade to black. So here it is then, the RT-S502D from Toshiba. Absolutely beautiful thing, I reckon. I think in retrospect it dates from the mid to late 80s, but either way it's still the thick end of 40 years old. And you'd never know, it looks almost like new, to be honest. It really is gorgeous. Yes, it needed a deep clean and a polish. It's been stood for a long time after all. Now I've got to say, giving it that deep clean has actually brought that genuine, beautiful bright grey colour back, especially to the handle. I've also polished the aerial as well. All the knobs and switches have been cleaned, and it's had an internal clean and polish as well. But the radio worked. The main work really on this was to do with the cassette mech. I'm delighted to say that unlike the big brother, the 702, which has got a counter, this one's only got one belt. So easy enough to do, but it did need a bit of cleaning up of the degraded tar that was the belt. And yeah, we've cleaned the capstan, the pinch roller, the heads. They were all kind of quite well used actually, a lot of ferrite and stuff on the tape pass. So we've cleaned all that up and just given everything a nice little zhuzh, as it were. So we've given this a quick demo while we were reassembling it, but this is genuinely the first time we've tried this now in the machine, so let's give it a go. And I do love that eject mechanism on there. It's so powerful. It snaps that cassette in as if to say, right, I'm going to play you ready or not. So on that invitation, let's give it a go, see what happens. Oh, nice. Very nice. So you'll have to tune into an old F1 or something like that to watch the rest of that music where they're fully played up to use it. Otherwise, rewind, fast forward, and play. Yeah, the take up on that is superb. There's really strong fast forward and rewind. Really pleased with that. That's superb. I will actually give you a very quick listen to the radio as well, because it is a very sensitive but selective radio as well on this, and it really is quite a pleasure. I'll spin the microphone round real quick and dim the light so it doesn't interfere with the reception, and let you have a quick listen to the radio. To show me that you understand how I like
for our ABC though.
You know what? I will be honest, I don't drink coffee, but she did hand it to me.
So you could hear there that despite its age and the inevitable wear and tear that we get on the amplifier stages with worn caps and stuff like that, it's still performing remarkably well. It looks gorgeous, it's light, it's portable, it's that great size actually where it looks fab on a shelf, and in a smaller apartment or flat or house it looks like a pucker boombox, but actually it's also light and portable enough to be used in the kitchen or to take to the office, to put in a workshop, or even carry on a picnic if you wanted to. So there it is anyway, there's the RTS-502D. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Do check out some of my other videos, including the big brother to this, the RT-S502D, and many more. Stay safe, I'll be back soon, but in the meantime, as always, thanks ever so much for watching, and bye bye for now.